So to the 15th video community of practice meeting. I'm Pankaj Agrawal, founder of Next Software Solutions and working group leader of this community of practice. To review the last meeting, in the last meeting we discussed about several meta information, and in the background Jason has worked on building the vocabulary list in the Google Sheets and adding the required URIs and descriptions. I would say that we are getting close to what we need finally. So this is the vocabulary list that we have. So all the verbs are added already. We have added the meta information. So some which we have not finalized needs to be added. Some of these red ones have some issues that needs to be resolved, and we really might need to refine and add the definition on whichever it is not added. Apart from that, also in the background, yeah.
I was going to say some general guidance on that is just, try to make it as clear as possible and involve, the different players. If you want to say whether an actor did something or what its relationship is to the activity, that will definitely help for the definition. And then anything specific you think. Usually scope note is reserved for, each use case. Let's say the video profile was implemented within a course, then they would add some specific metadata under scope note that's applicable to that use case.
Yeah.
The other thing is, did you guys already publish like some specific recipes that you worked on with, using the various extensions and verbs and everything together? Is that in another document somewhere?
Recipe in what context? We currently don't have any recipe apart from what this vocabulary list is. So this vocabulary list itself would be kind of a recipe. We would need to explain some of the things in a document, probably in GitHub. We would need to create a spec with definition or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's already in the document.
So apart from the vocabulary list or background, Jason had created an issue on xAPI spec GitHub to clarify the RFC 56464 languages that we were confused about in the last meeting. So just to go into the context, we were talking about two language properties. One was for the language of the audio in the video or audio or whatever media is using this profile, and another was the CC language, the closed caption language, and we were not sure what this RFC 546 means, the spec. So Jason had created an issue on the GitHub. It was 921. I'll open the issue. So there was a very good discussion on this issue, and it looks like what we needed is explained pretty well by Jason and Andrew and Russell. So finally, we found that the language code should be in the format like, let me see where it is. So yes, let's say it is Spanish, it should be ES, and if an additional information is available, for example, Spanish spoken in Mexico might have a certain dialect difference. So if we know that the language is specific to Mexico dialect, we can add ES-MX, and that would define the language, and that is how it should be mentioned. But if the additional information is not available, only the base language should be mentioned. For example, ES should be only mentioned if we don't know that it is from Mexico or US or Portugal or wherever. So it is pretty clear now that the format should be like EN or EN-US or an extension thereof. So there can be decide if we want to use only 2 levels, or we can leave it, and people using the tags should be able to use whatever parts they need to use. So the RFC 5646 is pretty clear now, and I believe it is usable unless anyone has any objections. So I would assume that it is acceptable, and we'll be using RFC 5646 as it is explained now, and it is clear for the CC subtitle that we'll be using an extension. However, for the language of the audio itself, we could use the context language property instead of creating a separate extension. So the thing we need to decide is whether we should use this language property or not. To me, it makes sense to use this property explained here in this xAPI spec. This is the xAPI spec, and I will open the context section of it. There is a language property, and it says that code representing the language in which the experience being recorded in this statement occurred in, if applicable and known. So what do you suggest, Jason?
What's that? I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Should we use this language property from context? Are you able to see the context table here in the screen? Yeah, so this is the xAPI spec, and this is the context table. Language properties specifies that it should be an RFC 5646 string, and it should be the code representing the language in which experience being recorded in this statement occurred in. So should we use the audio language as this property here, or
yeah, that's for.
Should we go for a separate extension?
And that's for closed caption, you said?
No. Closed caption will be a separate property, but the actual experience is the audio experience of the language is probably the audio language. So I believe the audio language could be part of this property. This property could be used for the audio language.
Okay. Yeah, for language extension. Yeah, I don't see why not. That seems sense about creating property.
I'm inclined towards using this because if, let's say, some analytics tools analyze language for these statements coming in, and they are able to analyze language, they would not need any customization for analyzing video language. So when we say video language, it would be almost entirely the language of the audio in the video.
Right. And this would be an optional to implement, right? Profile. It's not something.
Yeah. So this would be an optional thing. Even this definition says that if applicable and known. So if the audio language is known only, then you can add the audio language. Most of these meta information are optional. So I have mentioned required for some of these which are required. For example, time would be required when you play, pause, terminate, interact, or complete. From and to will be required when you seek to another point in the video. So I have mentioned the required conditions. We can see further if anything is missing.
Yeah. So from and to. I think originally you guys had proposed using skipped or something like that, using from and to when they move from one point to another in a video.
The verb decided was, I think, seek. Let's see. Yeah. So the verb is seek, and when you skip from one place to another, it will be called seeked, and the from point and to point will be the point in time in video, and that will be required if a seeked verb is sent.
Okay. Yeah, seek seems like pretty consistent with video terminology.
So these will be part of result extensions, and it will be mentioned in the result extensions.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how we should deal with this here. We don't need an IRI when we are using the text extension. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. So yeah, no IRI for the context, any kind of context extensions. Right.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Pankaj? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear you, but I'm on the screen.
So the next thing that I wanted to discuss was that earlier when we discussed about progress, we discussed that we'll be using the result scaled property for mentioning the progress information. So let me go to the spec result. Yeah, so we have this property called scaled in the scores section of results. So it is, I guess, result score scale. So we had discussed that we'll be using scaled for specifying the progress, and scaled is generally in decimal, representing the percentage completion. However, the spec says that score objects should include scaled if a logical percentage based score is known. Yeah, it says that score objects should not be used for scores relating to progress or completion. Consider using an extension for an extension profile from an extension profile insert. So I'm not sure what exactly this means, but it looks like we cannot use score scaled.
Yeah, that's carried over from, traditional SCORM language. Because you have different systems, LMS systems in the past that
So the word completion here is confusing because generally the
Hey, Pockets, can you hear me?
score used is for the completion. Yeah, it
Hello?
should not be used for progress if we don't expect scale to be everywhere. Because in our case, we'll be passing progress in most of the statements.
Can you guys hear me?
No, Jason, I cannot hear you. Maybe you can reconnect your audio.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm on the street. But it's faint, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Is this any better? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can, but I think Punjab cannot. I can.
Oh, that's strange.
I'll reconnect my audio then.
So that's because he could hear you, but he couldn't hear me.
Yeah, odd. Yeah, very odd.
That is very strange.
He's reconnecting though.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
You can hear us now? Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Could you hear Mark? Could you hear Mark though before and not me?
No, I was not able to hear anyone.
Well, I was on mute a lot. I'm back on mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I was on and Mark could hear me, but you couldn't, so I didn't know what was going on. I think
Yeah, so there might have been some issue on my side then.
Okay, so
okay, so did you say anything that I didn't hear?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay.
The issues around
progress,
the details of
score.
progress on yeah.
So historically, scaled score and all those score properties came from SCORM, and the reason was, saying not to is because those are kind of reserved for LMS implementations traditionally, or at least how scores are displayed in different LMSs. It kind of varied a little bit. Usually, depending on the course or whatever, the scale is like 1 to 100 or 0 to 100, and for the raw score. But sometimes they were decimal based, so they added this scaled option in SCORM a long time ago, and this just kind of carried over from that, I believe, for the score object. Now, what are you wanting to use the score object for exactly? I need a little bit more context or background to understand.
Okay, so we had discussed about something called progress. So progress would be the percentage of consumed. So in whatever way, when you move through the video, whatever part of the video you have actually watched or consumed would be the percentage of video you have consumed, and that would mean the percentage of video you have already taken. And we had thought of using this result score dot scaled. So it would be the percentage in decimals.
Yeah, that's really reserved for a score, like with an assessment or something like that. So,
yeah, so we can use an extension if it is reserved. However, I'm not able to understand this part of the spec where it says it should not be used for scores relating to progress or even completion.
Yeah, because that's what you're trying to do here, kind of, right? With your progress, you're trying to relate it to that. And what they mean is like progress, like how much of a percentage you have completed, like 50%, 75%, not a score where you get on a scale of 0 to 100, a score for relating to your performance in a course. So.
And that's how it was with SCORM with an M. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you shouldn't be using it for this. You definitely use an extension.
We are trying to use for progress, so definitely we cannot use. However, scaled is for. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that scaled is percentage in terms of decimals.
It is
And
percentage. It is a percentage in terms of decimals, but the context is that it has to do with a score on a performance of an assessment. And
yeah,
there's
so
specific uses for progress is what we're trying to use it for.
yeah, so
In the video.
but what does this completion mean here? It should not be used with completion. So in terms
It
of
means that it means in relation to your progress, in relation to, let's say a student had completed 5 out of 10 lessons in a course, then we think we're saying that they've completed 50% of that course. So we don't want to use it for that purpose. We want to use it as if they answered 5 out of 10 questions correctly. They would get 50%. You use it only for that context for then scoring an assessment object or something like that.
okay, okay, great. So we'll have to use result extensions.
And that's a new ability with SCORM, or excuse me, with xAPI, in that the specific how much is being consumed, that's new to us from SCORM. xAPI gives us the new stuff.
Well, in SCORM 2004, they did have progress measure, and
okay,
you
okay.
able to do something with that to determine like how much they had used, but that didn't carry over to xAPI.
Okay. So I'll remove this red from here. So we'll use this extension URL, and for this context extension, how should we mention in this list? Do we need to read from the list, or what do we do?
For progress measure,
for the language, context language. For the context language, so it is not an extension actually. So we can move this from here.
Okay.
So I guess we'll decide where this row goes. Did you get what I'm saying?
What's that?
Did you get what I'm talking about? This row.
I'm sorry, you're cutting up on me or breaking up on me a little bit.
Did you get what I'm talking about? This context.language row. Are you able to see this row 19?
Yes. Yeah, I can see it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I think we lost Pankaj. I think his connection might be. Yeah.
Mark,
yeah, and yeah, I can hear you, Punjab, and I can hear Andy also.
Okay. So,
okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this row 19, because it is not an extension and doesn't have a defined URI, we might need to move it to some other place. So you might need to decide where it goes.
That's fine. Yeah, you're saying, yeah, so only result extensions would have IRIs.
Yeah.
And this would be a context.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So I'll leave it there for now. One more thing that we had to decide on this list was the URI for paused.
Yeah. Was that because there was an existing one or something, or what was the?
I don't know. I tried to find, I could not find an existing paused verb. So I just wanted to make sure we don't have anything that we are trying to create.
I think that's fine. We can create one there.
Yeah, so maybe you can decide if it goes into ADL verbs or goes into video verbs.
I think video is fine.
Okay.
And let me know when you guys are ready or finished with these other definitions completely. If you have any more to add, if you're finished, let me know when you're finished, and I'll go ahead and compile the vocabulary into the RDF stuff, publish it. Maybe we can send an announcement out and try to get some feedback from the community.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yes, so the remaining items. Yeah, so the two things that were remaining are the screen size and video size meta information. When talking about screen size, should we have something like width by height? The playback screen size, so it would be probably the viewport available. So whatever window we have, the width and height of the window. So does it look good? Just to make it clear, it is different from the resolution of the video. We have another thing called resolution, and it'll be 360, like 360, 80, 720, 180, and it'll be in terms of pixels or and will determine the quality of the video. Whereas screen size will be the size of the window open or available for the video, the maximum screen size available for the video to play. And
targeted screen size.
Yeah, the target screen size available. So it'll be width and height of the window, kind of.
Okay.
So does this look good? Any thoughts?
I think so, in lack of not having something else to go off.
Well, 800, but I'm back at the house now. It's Mark. 800 by 600 or 640 by 480. Thinking in terms of a phone versus a laptop. I'm waiting on my computer to boot up. It's going to be slow, but I know I'm just on my phone. 800 by 600 or 800 by 640. The numbers are mixing in my head right now.
Yeah, so depending on where you launch and what is also depending on the resolution of your screen and what part of the screen is available. So the playback screen size could differ.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that might be. I'm trying to find what value that provides, because actually, it gets a lot more specific when you get into mobile devices. There's so many different variations of screen sizes.
Right.
Here, I'll put a link in the chat just for an example. Look at like Android web apps. They
Right.
get
like 15 layers.
Yeah, they get into like pixel precision, you know, the pixel value for the height, width. They also get into density, pixel density, and other things like that you can specify. Pixel ratio. I don't know how useful defining the target screen size is for traditional or old desktop screens, like 1080 by 720, so forth. I don't know what the
I do know that some of the some of the authoring tools have set to basically 2 or 3 choices as you're creating new content, and the teams I'm working with is like Tora, and of course now I've got another tool set that I'm playing with too. So they're all mixed in my head. They're at the authoring tool. They're setting their standards and then allowing a leniency as you're creating your content, your courses. So they're suggesting standard sizes for laptop and tablets and phones as 3 different sizes, and specifying at the authoring tool that size, and then allowing leniency for any of those size differences from the authoring tool.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But with video, you know, if we're
down video,
video being, you know, this, you know, standalone thing from e-learning content, you know, video usually gets launched. It can get launched embedded within a screen, and there can be all these other things that wrap around the size of a video screen. I almost think you should have a very few options, kind of like Mark is saying here, Pankaj, like full screen being one of them. I don't know what the dimensions should be. You have a, you know, go to YouTube, you play a video, you've got it embedded within that page. I don't know what those dimensions are. They're going to vary depending on what the video was taken at. So are you talking about screen size here and what the video was originally authored in, or the screen size at which you want it to be played in?
Yeah, so there are probably 3 different things. When you say the screen size video was authored in, it might be a little complicated to get that, or I don't know, maybe we can get that. However, when we are talking about screen size, it is the actual screen size of the user watching the video, and if it is on a desktop browser, it could be the window size of your browser. So let's say you make your window size smaller, the screen size might be smaller, because I'm not sure if the entire screen size of the desktop would be available from a script. So the thing is that this would tell what is the available screen size on the device where the video is being watched, and is not related to the size of the video or the size of the video it was created with.
Okay, so it could be resized, right? It might be a variable value that could change. You're gonna have to have. So how would you capture that? Are you gonna have to have some script that's constantly trying to capture whatever the current dimensions are that the user has changed it to?
Generally JavaScript is able to check the size of the screen available.
So that's just going to be a numeric value.
Yeah, so it'll be the width. You can check the width of the screen and height of the screen. And
okay, yeah, it's some number times some number.
Yeah.
Okay.
And similarly, we could have the video size as well. So if the screen is large but the video is only a part of the screen, so we could see what is the size of the video being watched.
That's really that's got to be a text string then. You're doing the X value, so that you're just specifying the format here. It's cell.
So it will be like width by height in terms of pixels.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how it would work out with the pixel density. Pixel density is generally not used except the Retina devices. So Retina devices will have pixel density of 2, and other devices will have pixel density of 1 always.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Screen size, text.
So I would say video size would be the size in width by height on screen of the video being watched.
I'd say it's going to be two different things, because one is the browser is going to present the whole piece of content, but within that page, on the web page or device page or pad page, there might be differences that were created from the content creator that might have specified that size or that size differences for that frame within that page. I know it's Lectora and yeah, Lectora is pretty, and then the other browsers that are, excuse me, the other authoring tool I'm working with, they specify and give you a lot of lenience in that frame size. There is the page, the full page of the web page, and then that course itself, but there's multiple frames within that you might have within that single page. And each one of those might have differences on the video playing still on that. Probably using the same player, but different frames within one page, multiple frames.
Yes, generally the script, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just multiples within one page.
Yeah, so generally the script which is watching the video and is trying to read whatever is happening on the video should be able to figure out the width and height of the video that is currently on screen.
Right, and that's in scripts within those frames, sure.
Yeah, so generally JavaScript is used, and it should be able to figure that out. And if on specific devices it is not available, these values would be optional anyways. So so the script on those devices can omit these values.
You guys have a working example to go with a profile of some content that uses all of these properties?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm just curious. I'm sure we can work on one. I was just wondering if you guys had already been building anything as you went along with the profile.
There are examples, but I don't think anyone has used this profile and all these meta values. So we'll have to create something.
I would.
So we might need to create a demo or something, and also have examples of statements.
Ponzo, do you have something that's kind of already put together a little bit, or something to work with, work from?
Yeah,
No?
there are some scripts. You can see links of some work that's being done. So in the related work outside video COP section, you can see that there is already one project that is on YouTube from Tyler, and there are some blogs, and we have a plugin that uses the work that Tyler had done, and it is part of the xAPI YouTube GitHub. So it sends statements, but it doesn't use the current profile. So we can modify, we can take that, fork that, and we can modify it.
Okay.
Yeah, we could probably update this example that he has as well, the vocabulary.
Wow.
There is
What are the-
already a yeah, go ahead.
What name or person did you mention that might have some foundations of this of video?
There is also a video recipe created by RustTC, but it differs from the profile that we are creating.
Okay.
So we might have some examples which use their profile.
Okay. I'll jump through that. I'll dig through that and see.
Yeah, and I can get in touch with some guys on our staff too that have been maintaining this repository on GitHub. We could go back and update Tyler's example vocabulary.
Am I still audible?
Tyler's, yes.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Got it. Punjab, are you still there?
I
don't hear him.
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think so either. I can't hear him.
Huh.
Hello.
But hey,
you back? Did we lose you?
Yeah, I think he jumped off. He's probably gonna join or something.
Okay. Yeah, he's back.
Hello.
Yeah, we heard you jump in. Are you back?
Yeah, I don't know why audio is breaking up. So SG had sent this link targeting device density.
Yeah, I was just showing an example. Like mobile can get pretty detailed. I think what you have is fine. And I'll go back and see if we can update this YouTube xAPI example in the GitHub, ADL's GitHub repository with the new video profile vocabulary.
The link of this document?
What's that? Yeah, I'll update this YouTube example from Tyler's that you were referencing with the new video vocabulary as an action item after I publish the vocabulary. That could be one of our examples.
Okay, yeah. Let me know if you need.
Okay.
So we can add these two on the list.
You need to subscribe to that.
So I'll add the screen size and video size here. Should I use hyphen or underscore?
Use a hyphen for what? Oh, or underscore. I mean, it's either's fine. I've been using more hyphens when I do the vocabulary stuff. I don't think we have any guidelines on one or the other. If you want to keep it consistent, I would do hyphen if you already have some.
Yeah, right now we have both. On some we have hyphen and on some we have underscore. So maybe you can change.
Yeah.
So I'll change time from to hyphen and time from to hyphen.
I have to jump off here in like 5 minutes, but how soon do you guys think you'll be ready with the vocabulary list and feel like it's done as it can be? Do we need another meeting, or should I start working on putting these in there as is?
I think it is kind of ready, but the definitions, I guess, it might be good if at least 1 or 2 person can go in and review, make changes. What do you suggest?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only 3 of us on the call. So.
Yeah, and I've got some time, so point something at me. I'll give you some feedback.
Yeah.
Do you have the link of this document?
Yeah, at some point. It's not only on my phone, and on my laptop's just now getting up and running good. So, but yeah, yeah, I'll get back to the history and get back to it. Yeah.
Okay, so the link is on the chat as well, and it is on the document.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in just a minute ago.
It's the one you put in the meeting invite today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you can go in and review the reductions and the note and see if we can improve.
Okay. Yeah, we've seen a lot of it already, but yeah, I'll go back to focused on video. Yep.
So as we are almost kind of completing, and let me know, Jason, when you are going, and maybe we can wrap up this call. So one of the things that we might need to discuss maybe in the next call or maybe on the Google groups is that I have heard few people talk about whether we should limit it to or we should expand the scope to other format like audio and anything else that is closely linked to this profile. So I think, Jason, you were one of the first persons to point this out, and I guess few other people have talked about it. So I'm not sure where to start this and what will be added. So we try to increase the scope of video profile to other media formats, and how should we go ahead about that?
What's an example of some of the other media formats?
So one of the most common would be the audio.
And what about virtual reality?
Yeah.
So that's another camp, right? Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Yeah, for virtual reality, I think we'll have to think a lot before we can say that we want to move ahead on that, because a lot of these meta information might not relate to virtual reality at all.
Probably not.
So full screen might not make any sense.
No. Which I.
Yeah. So we'll have to think. But yes, maybe we could include audio at least and see what are the things like video or animations or whatever can be considered, can be considered.
Yeah, animation's interesting. Yeah.
So based on what we decide, we might need to tweak some of these definitions as well, because most of the places we have video here.
Yeah, some might overlap. Yeah.
So in some places, I might have written media, so time scale media. So we might need to decide we should use video or some other word and try to make this consistent.
Hey guys, I got to jump off and join another meeting.
Okay, great.
But let's
Thanks
keep
for
the
joining.
conversation going though. If you can, just send emails to any progress or anything you need me to do. Let me know when you're ready with this vocabulary, and so we don't have to wait.
Yeah, definitely.
A month before we talk again, because I think there's some things I can do offline with
you
guys.
Yeah, and Panjab, if you can let us the next time frame, then we want to do this again.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So yeah, Panjab, what kind of time frame do we want to set? Because I'm pretty flexible, really flexible.
Time frame for what?
It's up to you. For trying to do some tweaking on this and just reviewing some of what we've got already, and seeing if there's any changes that you expect, or if you want me to dig through and see if there's anything. We'd hopefully not a lot, but
yeah, whenever you're free, you can go through and look at it. Regarding the point that I mentioned about with audio, I think it is a decision that's to be, and we should not be hung up on that and try to move ahead.
Sure.
We'll have to decide and see what kind of interest we have from other people, and I'm sure that people would want you to include it at least, and but we'll have to modify a lot of wordings that we have, including the name of the profile that we see, profile or video COP. We might need to modify. We might need to talk about the naming, and it'll affect how people understand what it is about. So it might take time to decide on that, but we can go ahead and continue with this vocabulary and publish it. We can maybe change it in the next version or something like that.
Okay.
So whenever you have time, go ahead and any changes you want, and you can email me. Do you have my email ID?
No, but is it in some of the meeting announcements, or is there email in there?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, from
the
meeting.
Most of them you can see my email ID, or you can just send a message on the group as well. It doesn't.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, great. So thanks for joining, and I feel we are making good progress. It's to have you in the mix.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
See you in the next meeting.
Bye-bye.
We'll have the next one in July 5th. Bye bye.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.